Ah, there we go.
And we're there, we're live. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. This is Tom Raftery on the Tech for Good show. This is episode 66. We had a little bit of a hitch starting up today. The start button disappeared, if you can believe that. Totally my fault. I'm messed up at this end. If you're wondering, if you're a regular viewer, slightly different background behind me here. So today could be a little bit fuzzy or freaky or whatever, because we are broadcasting today, or I'm broadcasting today from a holiday home on the coast using a 2010 laptop with about 500 tabs open on 4 gigabytes of RAM. So if we survive today at all, it'll be a minor miracle. Losing the start button might just have been the start of our problems. Anywho, my co-host today will pick up the slack if I drop the ball, which I'm highly likely to do many times over. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, Chris Kernahan, Principal Consultant at Bluefin Solutions and SAP Mentor and General Lover of Technology, and picking up Tom's slack as usual. Actually, Tom, if you managed to get through today on 4 gig of RAM with that many tabs open, I have to say that is a stunning indictment for Apple. And your loss of the start button, I can only say it's a stunning indictment of Microsoft. It's Windows 8 all over again.
Google, dude. Let's throw the blame on them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The other thing is the temperatures here are just off the freaking charts. So I am sweltering. I've windows open on my left there, and on my right, trying to get a cross breeze, and that won't help the computer either. Anywho, climate change, global warming, the whole thing are not helping us here today, shall we say?
No, definitely not.
So let's see if I can do some screen sharing. Let's see what would be a good screen to share. Hopefully a screen with some of the stories on it, if I can find one of those, because oh dear, where Chris, say something humorous there for a second, will you? Because
okay. So, oh Jesus. So I've actually, if you look behind you, I've actually managed to tidy some of this. So I actually, it got so bad that this morning I tripped over something on the way in. I thought I was actually Lucy, one of the dogs, and it actually turned out to be something else entirely. So I decided enough was enough. In between doing my fabulous Amazon exams, I have spent some of my lunch hour basically throwing as much as I can out into recycling, shredding, and actually throwing it out. So it's been a highly exciting morning for me. So it has, and then looking at your stories as well, some of which are some of them are great, and some of them are so disappointing.
Yeah, I've figured out what's going on here at this end. Unfortunately, the Firefox is getting into a tailspin here.
But you want me? I have them.
You have them open? Great. Can you share a screen there and throw them up?
Share and show the screen with the stories on it, and not all the trade secrets that are on it. I think we've got it here. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That's not a problem.
Okay, so as is usual, we start off with a bad news story or two, and then head into the good news. Do you want? There's a little button up at the top there, Chris. It should be on the top of your sharing screen, which should say "Show everyone" or something like that, if I recall correctly.
Screen sharing, and it's got stop, and then it's got stop sharing or hide, and then on the one that I'm actually sharing, I don't have anything.
Okay, because it shouldn't be switching back to me when I talk. Well, if we want to keep that on screen and let people see it. Basically, it's still showing me.
Oh, as handsome as you are, I can see why that would be a problem. Well, let me just drag this over. Here we go. Pull you across and screen share again. Tom, this is actually very complicated. I never thought that it would actually be. I just thought this was dead easy.
No, because like I said, there should be two buttons up on the top of the screen there. I'm sorry, this is happening. Should be two buttons up at the top of the screen there. One of which is stop, and the other is show. And when you hit it may not be show. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it's not the stop one. It might be show everyone or something like that. When you click that, then it should stay on the shared screen and not switch over to me when I start making noise.
No.
It's how I make sure. It's how I make sure that when I'm sharing the screen and you start talking, that the screen doesn't exactly flip over to people seeing your face.
No, it's not working, man. It's not working at all. If I do it, all I get is I can share this, and it goes to that screen, and then that's it. There's nothing at the top of my screen. I'm using Chrome, you see, so there could be a different behavior on Chrome.
Damn. Okay.
I'll have to live with it.
Yeah, we will. So, can you introduce the story in that case, Chris? Sorry to do this to you, but
no, it's not a problem. So this is a story from The Guardian. It's about the warming of oceans due to the climate change is unstoppable. Basically, the story itself comes from the State of the Climate 2014 report. And it's talking about how global sea level has reached a record high, and then goes down through where various oceans or various seas have experienced particular temperature rises and things and that sort of stuff. So it's actually it's a very short article, and it's pretty good. But unfortunately there's no graphics here.
No, there isn't. There's just that picture of the waves there. And basically what they're saying is even if we stopped spitting out CO2 today, the oceans would continue warming for several millennia more. Yeah. And why that's important is that a lot of the tropical storms and hurricanes off the East US coast, cyclones in the Pacific, a lot of those are caused and pick up energy from the warm waters in the Atlantic and the Pacific. And the warmer the waters are, the more energy they pick up, and the heavier the resultant storms are. So not a huge amount of good news in that story.
No.
So let's
so the next one.
Scoot on by, yeah.
The next one we talked about just before we came on air, and this. No. It's what was it?
Oh yeah.
The mini ice age. Our new mini ice age, which was quite hilarious.
What a load of bull. This was a story that was reported in the Daily Mail and then picked up a few legs from there. Basically, the Daily Mail misrepresented the reporting of a report around the solar minimum that's going to happen in around the 2030s, between now and the 2030s. The solar intensity is going to decrease slightly. And suddenly it went from the solar intensity is going to decrease to we're going to have a mini ice age in the 2030s, which is complete rubbish. And the piece that I've linked to there comes from Think Progress, and it debunks it entirely. But there's been a couple of other articles and other publications which do so as well. And basically, it says no, that the science has been completely misrepresented. That it refers back to the mini ice age in the Middle Ages. And in the Middle Ages, there was a mini ice age, and it was associated with solar minima, and a particular solar minimum called the Maunder minimum. But recent science has shown that the Maunder minimum was coincident with the mini ice age as opposed to causing it. It might have had a slight effect, but it certainly didn't cause a mini ice age. And in fact, the cold period in the Middle Ages was caused by a sequence of volcanoes that happened around that time, and they contributed far more to the ice age than did the Maunder minimum. And so if there is any effect from the solar minimum that we're going to experience between now and 2030, it will be extremely slight. and it might provide a slight relief to the extreme temperatures that we're going to get between now and then, and the accelerating global warming that we will see between now and then.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there actually there was a very, very nice graph there where you could actually see. I'll put it back up on the screen. With the 400 years of sunspot observations, and the interesting thing is that the sun functions on an 11-year cycle, and they were expecting in the last, I think, 20 years, they were expecting the sun to cycle back up again into a new cycle, and it stayed strangely very, very quiet. So it did. So this whole thing of sunspot observations and linked to climate and stuff like that, it doesn't really hold an awful lot of water for me at all.
No, it doesn't. And if there are several places. If you Google climate forcing, so climate forcing is the term that's used for the ability of any particular thing to affect the climate.
Yes.
So it's climate forcing ability. So if you Google climate forcing and sunspots, you'll see exactly how much forcing ability sunspots and solar activity has on climate change. And then if you Google CO2 and climate forcing, you'll see it's orders of magnitude greater. So the climate forcing ability of the solar intensity, you'd have to have something massive like a large series of volcanoes to throw ash up into the sky, to actually affect the sun's influence on the planet. The solar sunspot intensity is not going to have any effect at all.
I think the last big volcanic eruption that actually had that level of climate action was Pinatubo in the mid-1990s. Was it 1990s or early 2008?
Can't remember, to be honest, when that was.
Yeah. That was the ash and the sulfur dioxide.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. So Karen Tillotson is saying there on Twitter, she's wondering if I'm going to discuss the numpty article I posted on Facebook. So that's actually the next one in the queue, isn't it?
I think so. Tony Abbott. Yes.
Yes, Tony Abbott.
That joyful individual. That lovely individual that is. So obviously,
the numpty that Karine mentioned, that I talked about in Facebook. Basically, he is the Australian Prime Minister, and he came out and said coal is great. Let's dig up lots more of it, and he gave permits to 2 massive coal farms, one in the middle of extremely valuable farming country in Australia. I mean,
seriously?
Yeah. Even his own agriculture minister came out against him on that one.
Yeah.
It's, you just kind of throw your hands up in the air when it comes to this guy, and we all know a few Australians, and they're generally good people, and you kind of wonder, how in God's name did they make this idiot their prime minister? And just to give you an idea of how much of a freaking numpty this guy is, he has a massive anti-immigration platform. He has concentration camps on islands in the Pacific where he ships all of the illegal immigrants to. He has passed laws saying that any of the medical workers working in those concentration camps cannot report on the conditions there. It'll be against the law, and they will be jailed if they open their mouths about the conditions in those camps. And
that's despicable.
And he has the Australian Navy paying people smugglers to turn their ships around and go back to Indonesia or wherever they came from. Literally, they're giving them cash. They're giving them big wads of cash to take the people back to wherever they brought them from.
Bloody hell.
So, literally, and this is all well documented. And the most ironic thing of all that is that this guy, Tony Abbott, is not Australian. He's an immigrant. He was born in London.
That's brilliant.
I mean, you just, how?
No, that beggars belief. That really does beggar belief. It's there are many comparisons you could draw with various people throughout the ages and all the rest of it who were not from originally the place that they were elected to represent, and ended up doing bad things. So, nothing.
Are we talking about a small Austrian guy by any chance?
I wouldn't. I don't know. But somebody's compensating for something.
Famous house painter. Yeah.
Absolutely. So look, it does beg our belief. As you say, we know many people from that side of the world, and some of them are extremely environmentally conscious. So I don't understand. And how can you build a foundation of an economy on one of the most polluting forms of hydrocarbon? Even the Chinese have gotten the message and said, this is just not a good idea. It's not sustainable. It's not a good idea. Let's get out of it and let's do something else.
And the idea of building these two big mines, and you said solar farms. Yeah. These two big mines is to sell their coal to India and China, both of whom are cutting back on their coal consumption.
Now, guys living in a dream world. Not a good idea.
Oh man.
Anyway,
let's get on to some better stuff, Chris. Come on, we're just get in a bad mood.
Absolutely. So here we go. This one, I saw this during the week. This is brilliant. Let me just go and share it. No, screen. I want the screen share yet. Bad thing. Can you see it?
I'm seeing something. My screen's messed up, so I'm not sure what I'm seeing. Hopefully everyone else is seeing it.
It's coming through on my screen as being a bit all over the place. So hold on, let me try and share it a different way. Do screen 2. You should be seeing me, and now you'll see this. Have you got it?
Whoa.
Is that better?
Yes, Denmark. Go on. Yeah. I'll shut up. And you introduce it.
No, you keep going.
If I do, though, it disappears off the screen. Anyway, okay. I will. So Denmark, during this week, produced 140% of its electricity demand from wind energy. So one of the interesting things about any electrical grid is you can only consume 100% of the demand. If you have excess demand, you potentially have a problem. In this case, it's okay because producing 140% of the country's demand solely from wind energy meant they had 40% extra, obviously. And what do they do with that 40% extra? They sold it to Sweden, they sold it to Norway, and they sold it to Germany. And they had more excess, not just the 40%, because they also produced from gas and a couple of other generators. But just from wind alone, they produced 140% of the country's demand for energy. I mean, it's an amazing success story, and one that other countries are going to start modeling on, I think.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about it was the wind farms weren't even at their peak.
No.
And that's phenomenal. So it is, and it's one of those interesting ones. Denmark has a lot of interconnects with a lot of other countries, which not all European countries have as many interconnects as Denmark. I think France have a good few. Italy have a lot, but they're a net importer of energy.
Yeah.
So Germany's reasonably self-sufficient. I don't think it exports an awful lot, does it?
It doesn't. No, it's become a net importer with the shutting down of the nuclear, and the move to do renewables. They're buying in a lot of the Danish wind as a result.
Yeah. So it's. I like the fact it wasn't even at full capacity, and that's the bit where you just say that's awesome.
It is. It's tremendous. It really is. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep going.
So let me come off this a second. What I'm going to have to do is move that across to there. That's working better now. So there we go. Okay. next story is Amazon.
Amazon are going to buy wind in. Remind me, where is it? It's not Alabama. It's
North Carolina.
North Carolina. There you go.
Yes.
Okay. North Carolina are doing great things around renewables. I got to say they're attracting a lot of the big companies. Apple have their big place in North Carolina. IBM are there, of course. So it's become a real tech hub, and it's nice to see that the larger companies going there are demanding renewable energy, with the exception of IBM, are demanding renewable energy. So this story is, I guess, Amazon bending a bit to the pressure that's coming on them from Greenpeace and the likes to power their cloud computing from renewable energy. They're still not reporting on it, not reporting anything about anything, which is typical Amazon, just radical opaqueness.
Well, Bezos he's a strange fish. He's a very strange fish. There was a great article in I think it was on Dig, about Amazon. Obviously the 15th of July was Prime Day, and it was billed as being bigger than Black Friday. Certainly there was a lot of stuff shifted, but Amazon, the only consistently profitable bit of Amazon is web services. The actual shop and store itself runs at pretty much zero profit. It has massive revenues, but very, very little operating profit. But he still manages to have a very high approval rating with his shareholders, which is fantastic. But this is really important because Amazon traditionally have been quite opaque. Hopefully this will actually see them actually bringing more reporting on what they're doing to the fore. They're in North Carolina and they're using renewable energy because they see what Apple's doing, they see what Microsoft are doing. It's achievable, it works, and it's good PR.
Yeah. I think in Amazon's case, a lot of it is around cost saving, and they'll just go where the energy is cheapest and start it.
They're using Tesla storage batteries as well, so which is interesting.
It is. I saw that. I know they're running tests with Tesla. Whether they actually deploy them in anger or not, I don't know. If that happens, it'd be great if they do. It'd be great for Tesla and great for Amazon, but not holding my breath on that one.
Well, if the thing about it is, it all comes down to economies of scale. If Amazon buy the big enough batteries and make it the economies of scale for Tesla, then Tesla's going to bend over backwards. If nothing else, Elon Musk is a great businessman, and both him and Bezos hold. They have a kinship over their love of space and exploration. There's going to be something done there. So there is.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully. Yeah, that's fingers crossed then.
People don't buy from people. People don't buy from companies, they buy from people. So the next one here is the new Hive that British Gas are.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the one that this is the competitor to the Nest, and it's gone through an industrial redesign. After who's the designer at Nest? It's Tony something.
Fidel.
Tony Fidel. So this is now, and some of the pictures are actually pretty good. I'll bring them up. It's not the ugliest thing I've ever seen on the planet. There's the sensors for it, and it's I don't know.
So it's got motion sensors, it's got lights and plugs and things like that.
Yeah.
As well as controlling air conditioning and water.
Yes, and then there's that as well. So it's the Hive is actually a very, very nice product. I think this is the second iteration of it, if not the third iteration of it.
It's a second, I think, yeah. And it's yet another company going into the connected home space, I guess. We see Apple doing it with their HomeKit. We see Google doing it with Nest. There's a couple of other players in there as well, and now Hive are going in there as well. So it's a space that, you know, that there's plenty of room for, because, you know, there's a lot of homes out there, and the technology that's there now for connected homes is fragmented, at best, and full of proprietary standards. So very few of the devices are interoperable. Yeah. Even Samsung are getting into the space, and of course Samsung highly proprietary, Apple too, but at least Apple with their HomeKit stuff, you know, they've opened up to other providers, and they do HomeKit certified is what they call it. So yes, anyone can build for stuff to be controlled from Apple devices.
Yeah. Yeah, the Google stuff. I thought all the Google stuff was back. You know, it was based on Android, all the Nest stuff, and so from that point of view, it was open-ish, as it were. It was just because it was based on Android. But yeah, most of them are heavily proprietary. So they are, and that's a real problem. So
I still think when Google brought out the new Drop Cam a couple of weeks ago, so the home security cameras, I forget who it was, but some guy tweeted, "Now you can pay $200 to have Google install a camera in your home." I thought that was classic.
Yeah, it is certainly one way to look at it, and you know, I know you asked me last week if my rather large bin was that Amazon Echo, and my thought was exactly the same. I do not need Amazon to know what I'm thinking about purchasing, because I have enough crap in my house. I don't need Amazon sending me stuff.
Yeah.
I literally put stuff in my Amazon basket, and then I leave it there for at least 24 hours before I actually go and buy stuff. Otherwise, no, it's just not.
Wow. Good for you. That's proper impulse control.
Oh, it's so necessary though.
Something really, I wish I had.
Oh, well. You know, it is necessary. It is absolutely necessary. It still doesn't stop me buying stupid stuff. Like, I've got my wife the most ridiculous T-shirt about being a unicorn that I doubt she'll ever wear. But it was good, and I just want to see her face when I give it to her. So I may get a slap for doing it, but however, it'll be worth it. So yeah, it's not all good impulse control. My buy it later list is about 3 or 4 pages long.
Wow.
Oh, okay. You know, it is bad. It is bad. I could be a shopaholic if I had the money, or if I had access to better credit. But after 2000, it's just not the same. And banks are so much more careful, sort of. What is it? If you owe £1,000, you're worried that the bank or the bank's going to come looking for you. If you owe them £10 million, they'll take you out for dinner.
Oh yeah, I've heard that said slightly differently. It's if you owe the bank £1,000, you've got a problem. If you owe the bank £1,000 million, the bank has got a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there you go. So the next story is about the iBeacon. Now you bring it up, or no, it's the Eddystone, which is the iBeacon competitor.
Yes. Yeah. This is a new flexible open standard that Google are promoting to compete with iBeacons. iBeacons are low energy Bluetooth beacons, which the kind of use case they talk about for them are deploying them in shops, so that as you walk close to them, the beacons in the shop know you're there. They send a Bluetooth message to your phone, giving you an offer for something that you're close to, or in museums, to guide you around the exhibits in the museum, or in airports, guide you to gates or whatever.
Yeah. But it's for me, actually, this one is open. So it is, there was a famous story about Apple who got so protective of the iBeacon that when another company sort of plugged into it, Apple had the product shut down.
Yes.
So that which, to be honest, was a bit mean. You know, I can use other words to describe it, but it's a bit mean.
Yep.
So yeah, I do like this. But have you? There was whenever I first heard about the iBeacon and the fact it's Bluetooth, and the only thing that went through my head was the episode of The Big Bang Theory where they're talking about the little hair clips that the Penny was making as a sideline, and they wanted to make them for men, and they were wondering how they could actually make hair clips attractive for men, and the idea was give it Bluetooth because everything's better with Bluetooth. It's one of those things. Going around museums and stuff and shops are great use cases, so they are. But we've talked about other technologies that I think are actually better than iBeacons and this type of stuff. We've talked about Wi-Fi positioning and stuff within stores. It's less intrusive.
Yeah, using LED lighting.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I still a beacon is something else that's going to need to be purchased and have a supply chain and everything else. I just I don't know. So it just feels a little bit overly complicated for me. But however,
well, there's I guess the good bottom line out of this is it's more competition, both the Eddystone stuff and the LED lighting positioning stuff. Yes. So we're not stuck with just one thing, so that's good. Yeah,
no, absolutely. More choice, always a good thing.
So Karine is posting a picture of a unicorn T-shirt there. Wants to know if that's what it looks like.
Let's see. Actually, Karine, it's not a million miles away from that. I hope my wife isn't watching. It's not quite. The sentiment is absolutely spot on, but the pictures are it's not quite that what's the word I'm looking for, cutesy. So it isn't. So okay. Good. The next one is the GigaJam collaboration app. Deconstructs test the molecules of work. Oh,
go on.
No, you go.
So this is a new app being developed by Microsoft.
Yes.
And it's a collaboration tool. I can't think of anything incredibly analogous in the market today. Basically, it allows you to take little bits of almost anything, little bits of an email, and annotate them and send them to people, just that little bit that you kind of highlight. And it can be from email, it can be from Word documents, it can be from web pages, it can be from anything. And it uses open standards, it uses REST, it uses APIs, it uses, and any of the open formats. So it's completely, and it uses Cortana. And that was an interesting thing I noticed in the article, because they've never said anywhere openly if they're going to provide Cortana to OS X. But they said that this will utilize Cortana, and they've also said in another part that it is completely cross-compatible. So there's a hint there that maybe Cortana might come to OS X as well.
Well, this is it here. Microsoft built it using web standards REST, OAuth, JavaScript, HTML5. That means it's not tied to Windows, can be used out of the box with Office 365 Dynamics and non-Microsoft offerings such as Salesforce and SAP.
I mean, it sounds really interesting. I mean, just the way you can pick up little bits of whatever and send them to whoever, and the fact that those documents become collaborative, the person you send them to can work on them and send them back. Yeah.
Well, we both use a collaboration platform independently called Slack.
Yeah.
Whilst it's not directly analogous to Slack, because the clipping functionality and collaboration annotation isn't developed in Slack in that way, but we have both found that tools like Slack make distributed collaboration so much easier.
True.
And I think the Microsoft, the ability to object link and annotate will just make that better. And having Cortana, I used Cortana in the States on a Nokia platform, and it absolutely blew me away. I mean, it beats Siri hands down, and it beats Google now. It's like night and day. So it is. I'm so looking forward to Cortana on Windows 10. So to the point where I'm actually thinking about I'm debating whether to get the Microsoft Band, because they're bringing Cortana to Android, and you'll be able to access it through the Microsoft Band. So that will be a big draw for me.
Wow.
So,
I hadn't heard that. That's cool.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. I think the next story is the folding keyboard.
Sticking with Microsoft. Yeah. So we've talked about this before. It was announced a number of months ago. It's a Bluetooth keyboard. There you go. Yep. Make a bit of noise there so it comes back up on screen again. Oh,
there we go. You got me? Hello. You can't see me. You can't. I feel really stupid now.
So that's the keyboard. It's a pretty much full-size keyboard.
Yeah.
But it folds in half, and it's very slim. So
is there a picture there? No, I thought there was a picture of it. I actually folded it up, but
there have been other articles about it. The main thing is it goes on sale, I think today, and it's on sale not just from Microsoft but also from Amazon and other places as well. So, and it's something like $89 or $99. It's not hugely expensive. I can see, for people who have an iPad or even a large iPhone, having access to a small foldable full-size Bluetooth keyboard like that could be quite attractive.
Yeah, well, it's Microsoft again bringing out a really, really good hardware product. The
cross-platform as well.
Cross-platform. I've always been a big fan of the various mice that they've brought out, and I really, really like the bendy, snappy one. That's it's like a slinky of some description. I had one for a while, and then
they used to do very good ergonomic keyboards back in the day. I'm talking back in the 90s now. So these were keyboards that were kind of wave shaped.
Yes.
And they were very good for making sure you didn't get RSI in your wrist from using them.
Yeah, absolutely. Kareen's calling us slackers. I couldn't possibly comment on that, but
I'm a complete slacker.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I have to say, when Microsoft put their mind to it and build hardware, it's good. It is good.
They do a good job. They do.
Not quite Apple good, but certainly functional and extremely good. Yeah. So the next one, Apple Pay, lands in the UK.
Yeah, it's been, what has it been, 9 months since Apple Pay launched in the US, and now they've got it in a second country.
Yep. Woohoo! Absolutely. And it's the UK. Woohoo! I saw a very funny tweet from a good friend of mine, Kitty Kata, who said Apple Pay's now here in the UK. Somebody give me somewhere to go and shop. Otherwise, I'm going to McDonald's to use it for the first time. With the hashtag, I'm not afraid to.
Good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
There's a couple of the big banks still not signed up to it, HSBC and Barclays notably. Barclays in particular have their own competitive product, which, because they're Barclays, they're never going to get the reach of Apple Pay.
No.
And we'll eventually allow people with Barclays accounts to use Apple Pay. It's just a matter of time. I'm delighted to see it rolling out beyond the US. I would like to see it roll out to several more countries, please. Spain next, please, because
yeah. Well,
I love the idea of using your mobile device to pay for things, and not just that, but using it as an identifier as well. You read about situations where you go into a shop and for some reason your credit card company thinks it's a suspicious transaction, and so they deny it, and you're standing there looking like an idiot in the shop or in a restaurant because your credit card has been denied. Whereas what they should be able to do is they should be able to contact you on your phone because it's a known, trusted device.
Yeah.
And say, use your touch ID to verify that you actually want to do this purchase. You do, and suddenly you're spared the embarrassment, and the transaction goes through.
Yeah. Well, it last year at TechEd, or no, it was 2 years ago at TechEd. My credit card was refused on check-in, and I actually had to go find an ATM, pay security deposits, and obviously checked in on Saturday night, and being banking with Northern Ireland banks, customer service isn't always 100% as such. It could be 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. So
oh,
well, it wasn't quite that bad, but certainly I didn't actually get to UK customer service until Sunday. I actually had to pay for the first night, so I know the pain of having your credit card refused because of suspicious activity, even though I did tell them. But the interesting thing is the banks that are here, so they quote a number of banks,
including a Northern Ireland bank.
Yeah, the Ulster. But the thing about it is, of them, the nationwide NatWest, Ulster Bank, and Royal Bank of Scotland, they've all been bailed out by the UK government at the varying degrees. I'm wondering if they're all done. I wonder if they're all done under the same agreement. But wow. I did think it is very remiss that HSBC and Lloyds aren't on there now, because they are mentioned in the story, and I thought HSBC was going to be there. But anyway, you can use Apple Pay on the Tube, can't you? The London Tube.
I think so. Yeah. They've done it for Oyster. Yeah, I think so.
They did. Which for me actually is that would be a big draw for me actually.
Yeah.
How many Londoners don't have an Oyster card? You could probably count them on one hand.
Yeah. I would love to be able to use it anywhere to do anything. But right now, the Spanish banks still excluded from it.
Yeah. The Google version is out soon as well.
So Google Pay.
Google Pay, yeah. So that's going to be an interesting one. The next story is Move as an artificially intelligent personal trainer.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I thought, we've done a lot about wearables and about, things like the Fitbit and stuff, and they're all quite good. The difference with this one I thought was interesting because it uses artificial intelligence. It uses an AI.
Yes.
To push you in your training. So it has a number of sensors built into it, and the sensors can sense your movement if you're doing not just running but also cycling, swimming, these kinds of things that a lot of the other fitness bands have difficulties with. And as well as that, it then pushes you, it grades you where it says you are within the particular sport you're in, and it pushes you to get better all the time.
Yes.
To the extent that some people were complaining because it was pushing too hard. So in the latest version that they're rolling out now, it's dialed back the aggression a little bit, apparently. That's
brilliant. I have to say, actually, this is something else for me to look at. Really annoying. As I said, I've talked about the Microsoft Band, and I like it because the heart rate tracker on it is probably the best one there on the market, and it also has a large amount of integration with mobile.
Oh
yeah. So you can get alerts through it. You can use Cortana. This looks awesome. It's it has a 9-axis sensor and a 6-month battery life. That's insane.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
that is brilliant. That's like taking. It's such a nice, simple device, and it's taking all the things that, you know, the Fitbit will only track steps. It won't track if you're cycling or if you're swimming. You can't. Well, it's not water resistant to start with. And then if you're doing weights or any gym work, the Fitbits, the pedometers are really useless for you.
Yeah.
This actually takes a lot of that away because it has the gyroscope, so it can check rotational and vertical and horizontal movement, which you would do as part of, you know, if you were doing CrossFit, for example, which is a very aerobically and strength-based workout.
Yeah.
It's you know, this would capture this type of stuff. So that is really cool.
It is. It doesn't have a screen, we should say. So, you know, there's nothing per se to look at. You don't get any information by looking at it. You have to look at an associated app on your device. But other than that, it seems very nice.
It does. It really, really does. And it's quite a nice form factor.
It is. Flash it up on the screen there again so people can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to see, yeah, form factor as in the device, not URI. There you go. It is. It's definitely. It's a nice form factor. So it is.
Yeah.
I do wonder if it is. I'm gonna have a look and see if it is actually waterproof. Because given the fact there's no screen on it, it looks to be a fairly self-contained unit. It probably is.
Be surprised if there's not. Yeah.
I would be surprised. So. No, it does. Paired with an algorithm that makes sense of the data the band collects, speed, stride, cadence, landing impact when you run, cycle, or swim. So,
perfect.
Yeah, perfect. That's phenomenal.
And it's not expensive. It's less than 100. It's something like, was it 79 it said or something like that?
Yeah. Well, it's I think it cleared its Kickstarter, so it's $59 for one band and $99 for two.
That's amazing.
That is brilliant. So it is. Well, I might have to get one. Something else to go into the buy it later basket. No?
Sorry about that, Chris.
I know. I'm gonna blame the unicorn T-shirt on you. Right. This one's brilliant. And it's the VW camper van.
Yes, awesome. That's amazing.
Re-released as an electric vehicle. So we you know, the world cried when the last one rolled off the Brazilian factory floor in 2000. In 2003.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was later than that.
Well, you see, they continued selling them in the South American market.
Right. Okay. That's what it is. That's what it is. But they're an iconic vehicle. You know, they're absolutely iconic, and so you know their root is in the '60s, and you know in the hippie movement and all the rest of it. And to have such an iconic vehicle re-released as an electric vehicle.
Oh yeah. If that came out, I'd be in the queue.
Oh man, you know. It actually says if they had solar panels in the '60s. You know, that it really is. It is just and here's a couple of the other ones. What is it? The microbus and then the bully. The bully actually doesn't look that bad. The microbus now it looks horrendous.
Yeah.
The bully actually doesn't look too bad.
And they've released a Golf, a fully electric Golf.
Yes.
Which I haven't looked at the price of, but the Golf is Volkswagen's best-selling car globally.
Yes.
So if they've released an electric version of that, it means they're really starting to take electric seriously, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah. See, I'm still waiting on Audi. You know, the e-tron. Audi have done obviously it's still the Volkswagen group, but Audi have had a number of proof of concepts around electric and hybrid vehicles under the e-tron range. Yeah. But they haven't. It's never been in the form factor I wanted. I think the A3 has an electric, and the A1 has an electric or hybrid. But it's not until you get into the A4, A6 sort of ranges that really going to take off for riding.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's so much fun. That really is.
And the cool thing is a lot of, when you go to camping grounds,
yeah,
one of the things they do is they have a place you can plug in your caravan.
Yes. Oh, most of them have it.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to one of these camper vans, the Volkswagen camper vans, and you can charge your batteries there, no problem.
Exactly. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Next one is a cycling helmet.
Oh yeah, this is a Kickstarter as well.
Yes, this is the one with brake lights. I do like this one.
It's got brake lights and it's got indicators as well.
Yes.
The indicators are controlled by two little buttons on the handlebar to go left or right. The brakes are controlled by the helmet, if I read it correctly, sensing deceleration.
Yes. Yep, you did. No, you got that right. So.
And as you can see from that picture there of the helmet, they also have LEDs on the front, so traffic coming towards the cyclist can also be seen.
So you can see it here. So you can see the LEDs on the front there and then on the back. So it is. So
yeah,
it is. It's one of those things that we're out where I am at the moment. There are a great deal of cyclists out at this time of the year. A lot of mammals, middle-aged men in lycra. It's scary.
Oh God.
I know. It's one of those. It's a phrase that's onomatopoeic in its own right, and it gives you nightmares. But yeah, so there are a lot of cyclists in and around in my local area, and this would be brilliant for them because we're on little country roads, and not everybody drives as safely or as considerately as as others, and having this sort of stuff, it's brilliant. And even going to London, look at the number of bike accidents there are in London.
Oh yeah,
cities, because cyclists are nutters and don't help themselves in many respects, but equally other road users are not. They're not cycle friendly.
Well, the roads in London are not cycle friendly either.
No, definitely not. So yes, something like this for cyclists would be immensely useful.
And again, if I remember, not that expensive either. Was it again around 89 or something like that for the helmet?
I'll tell you now. It does appear to be $99 for the first batch in May, early bird $85. Then $99, then $119. So even in the third set, it's $119. So it's the better part of £119, £100.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That is very, very good. So it is, and it's one of those things. It's how can you put a price on your safety and your health?
True. That's the insurance company's job.
Yes, it is. We're going to have to whip through these last ones because I have my usual 5 o'clock pickup of my little girl. So if you want to tell me which ones you want to get, we've got the United Airlines one. I like this one.
Yes, a very good one.
This is this is a good one where a couple of security researchers, I think is the best way to describe them. Managed to find bugs in United Airlines website, contacted United, and they paid out awards of 1 million air miles each.
Yeah.
Which that's brilliant. And it's United are not always seen as the best airline in the world when it comes to customer relations and how they treat their customers. But I think it's a good show of goodwill, and it's something that's incredibly useful.
And it's something more companies should be doing. In fact, you too often hear stories of people reporting bugs to companies, and the companies calling the police and setting the police on the people who report it. Whereas in this case, instead of discouraging people finding bugs in their code, they were encouraging them by paying them a bug bounty.
Yep.
And this is a thing that is starting to take off with other companies, but now to see it in less customer-friendly companies like United, it's kind of, you're wondering, is it starting to become a trend? And if so, excellent.
Yeah, I certainly hope that the executive that authorised it got a big pat in the back, because they're not a very customer-friendly organisation. They've put many feet wrong, especially in the age of social media and Twitter. And they do seem to have done quite well out of it. And let's be honest, the planes are going anywhere. The frequent flyer miles don't really cost them an awful lot in the grand scheme of things, but it brought a hell of a lot of goodwill.
Yeah, true.
We have the Google Online Security blog.
Oh yeah.
The visible protection against. I didn't get a chance to read this one, so you may have to.
Sure. It's just they're changing the algorithms in Chrome such that it finds and reports and warns Chrome users about bad sites, basically. So they've got a better database and better reporting. They used to warn before when you went to a site that they suspected was suspicious. Yes. Now they've become, I don't want to say more aggressive, but they've become better at doing it, and they're catching more sites that they weren't catching before.
Excellent. I think the interesting thing is that I think are they sharing this or contributing this data to there's a foundation or something. It's not CERT. Is it CERT, the Computer Emergency Response?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the data from this is collated with other people and goes into CERT, and then it becomes an actual feedback loop.
Oh, nice.
So I'm nearly certain that they do. They don't publicize it very much.
No, I hadn't heard.
Yeah, so that's a good one. And then this is one that our Andy Piper I saw last night from Andy. This is the new dashboard, Twitter.
The Twitter one, yeah. I checked my own Twitter account and it's not live on it yet, so I suspect they're rolling it out slowly.
I was disappointed, but yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to it, because I've spent the last couple of days going through my Twitter my Twitter followers, and actually creating 2 lists now, because I'm finding it very difficult to manage my timeline between promoted tweets and some people just polluting my timeline. But yeah, I do think that it's that there's some update that's needed.
Yeah, no, I've got about I want to say I got about 12 lists in my Twitter followers, and I don't know how many I'm following, but it's north of 3,500, probably closer to 4,000 people.
Yeah.
So and the only way you can follow that number of people on Twitter is just to not follow them, as in just see what's ever being said when you go there, and don't look back, because if you try and look back, your head will explode.
Yeah, no, that I think somebody did a really good piece of research there. I think the maximum number you can follow on a daily basis and actually interact with was in and around 350 to 370 people. So
isn't that what they call like the Dunbar number?
It's not. The Dunbar number it's only about 175.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the one where you can actually have personal relationships and are actually knowing the person, but when you're actually looking through the timeline, it works out somewhere between 350 to 370, depending on how active the posters are in your Twitter following. I try to keep it even within that. I've just divided it up into 2 lists, which is daily and weekly. So stuff for people that I want to see every day goes in the daily list, and then people who tweet. I'm not going to call out examples or whatever, but people who I don't always think, I don't click on every link that they provide, will go into the weekly list. So for people that I don't interact with that often. So yeah.
The other cool thing that people might not be aware of is you can add Twitter accounts to a list without actually clicking follow.
Yes. Yes.
And so you can create lists of people you don't follow, but you want to jump into the list from time to time and see what's being said in there.
Yeah.
And that doesn't pollute your main timeline. So, you know, it can be a handy tip for people who, you know, want to see from time to time, look in and see what's happening in any particular area, but not, like I say, have it appear in their main timeline.
Yeah, no, I've been out at the many lists that way. So I have. It makes me feel cheap. Unloved. You know, leave money on the dresser. So this one, so
tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
How many memes has that picture spawned over the last couple of days? You know, we can see. I can't look at that picture anymore without thinking. I can see Pluto in that.
Exactly.
And then there was the other one with the Death Star, which was absolutely brilliant. That one was so good. But this is the sad thing. Jonathan Amos was on Radio 4 during the week. They're saying in his lifetime there will not be another mission by NASA to another planet. There's nothing on the books.
Yeah.
There are no other probes going to new worlds.
It was to new planets, not to planets, but to new planets, because there will be a few missions to Mars, for example.
Yeah.
But there'll be nothing to any new planet in any of our lifetimes, because the only new planets are ones outside our solar system.
But what about the moons? You know, they're talking
about going to Europa, which is one of the moons of Jupiter. And the reason they want to go to that is because it's covered in ice, and they reckon there's an ocean of water under it, which could support life.
Yeah.
So there's plans afoot to send a probe to Europa, definitely, and that will happen. Yeah. But it's not a planet. So
no, that's true.
But this has been amazing.
Yeah,
getting the New Horizons spacecraft, not only successfully getting it to fly past Pluto, but to do it within 70 seconds of when they planned it was going to get there 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And the way they planned it was when it flew past Pluto, they got it to turn around and turn back, so it was looking back at Pluto. But of course, when it was looking back at Pluto, the sun was behind Pluto.
Yeah.
So they were looking at the dark side of Pluto. So what did? They planned it to happen when the moon Charon was also behind. Oh, don't stick your hand in front of the camera, Tom. When the moon Charon was behind Pluto and reflecting light onto Pluto's dark side.
That's brilliant. That's an orbital maneuver that you know. So, somebody's just way too good with a slide rule and a compass. But it's oh man, it's amazing.
It's the story of the week, definitely.
The statistic was they sent that mission to Pluto for less than it cost to build a sports stadium.
Right. Yeah.
Seeing, you know, and the other thing was that,
oh, sorry, noisy neighbors.
So
Bloody Spaniards.
The bit rate is so low, and the probe was doing so much during the flyby. It flew past and literally just sent the message, you know, sort of along the lines of "I got it," and then it's spending. They're still going to be downloading data for the next 18 months from that probe. It collected so much data, and the bit rates are that low.
Did you see that the bit rates are between 1 and 4K per second?
Yeah.
I mean, I was complaining about the dial-up internet when it was at 14.4K.
I know. But yeah, that is just it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
it's coming from 3.5 billion miles away, so I guess we can't complain too much.
No, and it's a stunning. You know, that is technology for good. Absolutely. So the last two. So we have the Connect Home, low income houses online. You know,
that was a nice one.
this is a great one. This is another example of President Obama doing something for the good of his country. You know, we've had the Affordable Care Act, and now we have Connect Home that really help everybody, not just those who can afford to help themselves.
Yeah, there was a statistic there that people who have an annual income of, I think it was less than 25,000, only about 50% of those have an internet connection at home. So there's a big problem with people who are in lower income households getting internet access. And so what this initiative is aimed at addressing that and getting extremely cheap or free internet access into the homes of people with lower incomes.
Yeah, obviously, you know, the potentially the big winners in this are the internet companies, you know, the cable companies and things like that there. But somehow I just don't believe that they're going to be that sensible, and are probably going to lobby against it.
I think, well, from reading the article, some of them are already bought into it. So I think it'll get through pretty much no problem because of that.
Yeah. No, I see a lot of people like Google Fiber. I see Cox Communications. Sprint is in there. I'll give you that. Sprint is a large company.
Exactly.
Communications company. But I don't see Comcast. I don't see AT&T. You know, these guys are the incumbents. Where are they? It's not as if they're not getting money. You know. So I think it's a missed opportunity. But you know, in the EU and in the UK, I think we look at the US telecoms infrastructure and just see. I don't understand. I don't understand how it got to the state that it's in. I don't understand why consumers actually put up with it the way it is. It has to be one of the least valued systems in the world. It's awful. I think it's just appalling. You know, I'm not even going to get into it. It disappoints me in every single way, and it is because of lobbying and politics and big business.
Yes, yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's horrific. It is. It's turning the country into an oligarchy, basically.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't learn anything from their interactions with big agri and big pharma, and just let telecoms providers do exactly what big agri and big pharma did, which was look after themselves and screw their consumer. I feel quite strongly about that. Can you tell?
I was reading between the lines there, all right.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. This one, good news. Good Academy.
Yeah, they're doing awesome stuff. The Google and the Khan Academy together putting a summer camp together for kids, so that kids can, in the comfort of their own home, if to use that horrible cliche.
Yeah.
Actually go online and do courses for the summer. The way the Khan Academy does it is, I don't want to use the term gamify, but they make it fun for kids. You know, you get badges as you go along and things like that. You get merits and achievements, unlocking achievements and things like that. So the videos are, in fact, in the US at least, I know, and possibly in some places in Europe as well, some teachers now are reversing it and getting the kids to do the lessons using the Khan Academy resources at home, and then come in and do the homework in class with the teacher's aid.
Nice.
You know, it's a really the education is changing a lot. Technology is bringing a huge amount to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely. I'm really looking forward to seeing what how Anna's schooling will actually change over the years.
Yeah.
I really I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. I've had obviously my own educational experience. I've seen my niece and my nephew going through their educational experience. How I obviously there are vast differences. I think my nephew had one of the smart whiteboards where the teacher could project and annotate and all the rest of it, which was great.
Nice.
And the school that William's going to as a grammar school is a very, very technologically advanced school. They actually they did one of the the balloons with the probe and the mobile and all the rest.
Wow.
So yeah, no, it's a fantastic. Lorna went there and it was nowhere near as forward thinking, but their current headmaster is a phenomenal lady. I think it's a lady. Hope so. And yeah, so it's really cool. So I'm really looking forward to it. And things like this, the Khan Academy and stuff, it's just it is fantastic. It really is. Would you ever really stop learning? I know you never really stop learning anyway, but this is just one of those great things. Dude, I'm really gonna have to run. Karen's reminded me I have to. My child's gonna be sitting on the step of the childminder's going, Daddy, pick me up, please. So, guys, thank you very much. I shall see you again soon. So
Thanks for carrying it, Chris. Sorry about the technical mess up at my end.
No worries. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Good luck. Cheers. Bye.